opinion, it is not suitable for children or for those of you who may have a nervous disposition.
BBC Television.
BBC One.
Is the Virginian. This is BBC One.
Although we must leave that film about the years when comedy was king. It replaced the published programme Black Panther, which will now be shown in 2 or 3 weeks' time.
This is BBC One in colour.
Here on BBC One, 24 Hours with Kenneth Alsop.
And now some more surprises from those cartoon characters, Pixie and Dixie.
Now back to this afternoon's programmes on BBC One with Bewitched.
Evening news at 5:40, and the Chancellor of the Exchequer will be interviewed in the Tonight programme at 11:15 this evening. And now on BBC One, we're joining the Pink Panther.
In 10 minutes, Fleabag and Spiffy, the oddball couple, can be seen in 2 comedy films. First on BBC One, John Craven's News Round.
And now on BBC One, a special edition of Tomorrow's World, a trip into the world of illusion where anything can happen. Now you see it.
To end BBC One's week celebrating 60 BBC years, Ned Sherrin introduces the pioneering television satire show he created 2 decades ago in That Was 20 Years Ago, That Was.
On Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, the live and lively entertainment is provided by Terry Wogan.
Now on BBC One, it's time to celebrate the 60th anniversary of BBC Children in Need.
And now on BBC One, Christopher Lambert stars, with Ralph Richardson, James Fox and Ian Holm, in Hugh Hudson's Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan, Lord of the Apes.
Entertainment from the foyer of Pebble Mill. First on BBC One, the latest summary of news with Andrew Harvey.
In 10 minutes on BBC One, The Clothes Show, before which Terry Wogan and Sonia tantalise us with another pair of potential Eurovision smashes.
It's all action at Holby General in 20 minutes. First on BBC One, may the voice be with you.
Now on BBC One, time to open up this week's Country File with John Craven.
Inside the Strange and Unexplained, now on BBC One, Carol Vorderman returns for a new series of mysteries.
Before question time in half an hour on BBC One, some ripe language as Dave Allen joins Clive Anderson.
Good morning. From today, you might notice our TV channels look a little bit different. We hope you like it. Right now on BBC One, it's time for breakfast.
Japan's role in the conflict is the subject of The World at War in 45 minutes. First on BBC Two, drama. Being stuck at a desk doesn't stop. Cagney and Lacey.
This is BBC Two. Now, Bob Harris introduces this week's edition of the Old Grey Whistle Test.
Now, to close this evening on Two, the news from Richard Whitmore.
BBC Two, hello again, good evening to you from David Allen. In just over a minute, the third programme in our series, Man at Work.
On Two, the Flight of the Condor continues its exploration of the Andes across the Atacama Desert, which stretches for 2,000 miles along the Pacific.
An afternoon of sport begins now on BBC Two, Sunday Grandstand with John Inverdale.
Also tomorrow, after 4 weeks of intensive training, Ron Atkinson commentates on a major football match and Esther Ranson interviews live on the biggest chat show in France. Will it be a coup de grace or a public humiliation? The final showdown on Excuse My French at 9. That's it for tonight though. From me, Paul Reed, good night.
Crack open the champagne. 40 years ago today, BBC Two launched itself onto the nation's television sets. The first channel to bring you colour, the first channel to bring you Play School and The Office. And you don't get more diverse than that. So settle back and enjoy a host of famous faces, behind-the-scenes stories and a fine celebration of 40 years of broadcasting. Happy birthday, BBC Two.
We've been following them for around 20 years, and now on BBC Two, David Attenborough reveals the secrets of an animal superstar with that famous family of meerkats. A deadly mission for Harrison Ford and Robert Shaw in Force 10 from Navarone at 5:30. But first on BBC Two, New Year's Day on the pitch with finals. You're watching BBC Two. This is BBC Two.